All right. Hello and welcome to Just Animals podcast. I'm Elle, and today we have Shane and Pauline from Talking Batty. We're doing take 2 of our baby bat edition. Hopefully technology doesn't fail us this time. So go ahead. You can give a little hello for us really quick, ladies, please.
Hello. Hi, I'm Shane.
Hi, I'm Pauline.
And we've got a baby here today. Pauline's got 2 babies here, but we're at her house, and I brought along Alice, the baby that I have in care at the moment. So who's about to have a
whoever wants to go first.
Yeah.
Well, mine are being fed.
Yours
you want me to bring one of mine out?
You can if you want to. Yeah, you can if you want. And Alice is due for a feed in about 20 minutes, so we can give her
Excellent.
You can bring Bertie out because he's well behaved.
Oh yes, okay. So Pauline's going to bring Bertie.
Oh yeah, so you've got two rascals. It seems like, Pauline.
She's got one that's Bertie's a lot more calm, but her younger one, little Bo, he thinks he's a lot more grown up than he is. So he's
yes, is that the wild child one?
It is the wild child one, yes. So I think she's getting Bertie at the moment. She's just got to change him. So she's she's gone to get him, but she'll be back in a minute.
I know.
But Alice is behind here, so she's in her basket at the moment. She's climbed out of her wrap. As they get older, they like to come out of their wrap and hang. It's,
Oh, okay. They don't want to be in the burrito as much. They're kind of like, all right, I kind of want to do hanging things now.
Yes, yeah, that's right. So because at this age, she's 5 weeks old. So at this age, this is when their mums will leave them hanging on a tree overnight while they go out to feed. So then the mums come back every couple of hours and top them up with a bit of milk and then fly off again.
Right.
So they actually have a creche tree. So I think Guy was talking about the word creche before, wasn't he? It was like...
yes, the bat, because, it's a fancy Aussie word for bat daycare, which was sent him for a loop.
That's right, yeah, it is.
Oh, look. Oh. Honestly, I think they're much cuter than human babies. I would have no problems taking care of a baby bat. A human baby, no thank you.
My human baby was gorgeous, but all the rest of them are horrible, I think. They're all shriveled up and they all look like Winston Churchill.
Yeah, and then they call it the 1-year uglies or whatever, where all of a sudden they get all those little bumps on their skin and some rosacea going on. It's just kind of like, okay.
What's the matter?
Yeah. I know, these are all gorgeous, and of course they're all different, even being
right.
The one species, they have, as well as, their characteristics, also physically they look a lot different as well. Some of them are real blonde, some of them are very dark,
right.
Some have longer faces, some have rounder faces. They look very
it's like
different.
Dog breeds. It's like, you have a bunch of Dalmatians, but you can still see that's the one's shaped a little bit more differently than that one.
Yes, yeah. And of course their personalities are all totally different.
Oh, gosh. This guy's usually
it seems like
calm, but he's just wondering what's going on. He can hear these noises. So I'll just bring him
they're
closer.
active. I can't remember. Are they active during the day or night or both? Or do they wait, especially in the summertime? Because I know you guys are going into summer. Will they wait till it's a little cooler to go out, or?
They wait till the evening. At sunset is when they fly out to forage to get their food. But in the day, they're just hanging in the trees. But they don't just hang there all day. They will fly around from tree to tree and things like that. And because where our colony is in Botanic Park, it's actually a public park. So they're not left in peace for a lot of the day. People go out and take their kids out there. The kids are running around, and then the lawn gets mowed and things like that. So often, when you're out there, you'll see something and there'll be a big noise or something, and they'll all take off and they'll all circle and they'll all fly, and then they'll go back to their tree again. So they don't just
they get disturbed.
Yeah, and I think we spoke about it before about how they love the sun, so they go into the trees that are very sparse and open up their wings to get sun at their wings, and then when the weather's really hot, they will move to trees that have got a lot more foliage on them, so they can get a lot more shade. Yeah, so but no, they don't just hang in the trees, or most of the time they do, but
Right.
there's a lot of chatter going on, and
Oh, I'm
uh,
sure. I'm sure
yeah,
they have to have their morning talk show. So
that's
I
right.
know that they're at your botanic garden in Adelaide. They weren't put there? Did they just magically happen to find it and
They did.
realized, oh, this is a safe place. We're good here, and we're gonna stay
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Wow. Well, that's very lucky they found a publicly protected area.
Well, I guess in a sense, they're a bit lucky in the fact that it is in a public and easily accessible area for us when they need help or when we have to do rescues and
Right.
things, because we can easily just walk around and find if there's babies that have fallen. But a lot of colonies interstate, and we only have the one here in Adelaide, but a lot of interstate ones, they're not really that accessible. So,
Oh,
they
sure.
can have a lot of that babies that are falling, a lot of injuries that are, if they come down, they're never found. But with us, especially in baby season, we go and do patrols of the colony, 2 or 3 times a day to see if there's any fallen ones we can save. And this is how we get these guys that we raise. But when they're setting up a colony, and yes, they only came here in 2010, so we never had flying foxes in South Australia prior to that. So they
Okay.
came
Right.
here for
Right.
food sources, and our feeding in South Australia, our winter feeding is much better than along the east coast. So when they get scarce over there, the food gets scarce, they will fly over here, and I think we mentioned before they can fly up to 50 kilometres a night. So they'll do little stretches, and they'll from interstate, and they arrived here. So when they set up a colony, their criteria for a colony is to be 50 kilometres or less from a food source. So they'll never set
Sure.
up a colony in the middle of nowhere where there's no food around for hundreds of kilometres. So it has to be 50 kilometres for their food source, and also a creek or a river, as that's how they navigate. They navigate their way in and out of the colony through following lines pretty much. So they'll do that along rivers and creeks and things like that. And they'll even navigate from street lights too. So in the city, when they're flying out, we'll get long highways with a lot of lights and that, and they will navigate that way as well. So
Wow.
they sort of set up wherever they think it's great. But yeah, the main criteria for that is the closeness of the food source and a river or creek
Sure.
nearby.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, I know this is a weird question, and I've seen a video of it. It's very well could have been faked. Can they swim?
They can. They're very good
Okay,
swimmers.
that's what I thought, because at first I saw the video and it's like it looks like a bat swimming, and then I had to like quadruple take. I was like, that is a bat swimming, and I was like, I must know more. And then of course there's not much information out there on swimming bats,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, no, they do. They're very good swimmers, and it's quite
okay.
well. You've obviously seen it, but they're using their wings. They're swimming
Yeah,
breaststroke
yeah,
pretty much, and they're
yeah. They are.
using
They're doing breaststroke exactly,
It's like they
yeah,
got
and it's so
web
wild.
yes, yeah,
because they sit on top of the water.
yeah. But
Right, they do. Yeah, it's kind of just their wings kind of hold them right up top, and
yeah, yeah.
it's
So in hot
amazing.
weather, really hot weather, they belly dip.
Oh,
So
sure.
our colony is along the Torrens River, Adelaide's River
Hmm.
Torrens, and on
Okay,
really hot days, around about 4 o'clock time, they go over and they
right.
belly dip, because they sort of don't drink um, as such. They dip their tummy into the water, and then they lick the water off, and that's how they have a drink and
Cool
cool
off.
themselves down. But
Ah,
sometimes if we've had a few really hot days all in a row, by the time they get, they fly over to dip, they're exhausted, and sometimes they sort of make it and then they crash land into the water and then have to swim over to the riverbank. And we've done some rescues along the Torrens River, haven't we?
Yeah, we sure have.
We've had the council
oh yeah. That was gonna
guys
be my next
and go
question.
out in their rowboats and fish them out of the river, because they're just exhausted from days and days of heat.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's if I saw someone out in a rowboat or canoe or kayak being like, "Oh, we're just out here to go rescue bats," I would not believe you. I'd be like, "No, I think maybe something is wrong with you. You're maybe here for some fish or some
Yes.
dragonflies, but
Yes.
uh
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. And one of the heat stress events, we had quite a lot in the river because they were all in there and they were hot and they were all dirty. So I took them home overnight and I gave them a decent wash, and they were all
right.
older. So then the next morning I took them back out and re-released them, and because the weather was then cooled down, so we just wanted to get all that icky water off them, make sure they were
Right.
okay. But oh yeah, we do all sorts of
Yeah.
interesting things,
Yep,
don't we?
it is.
Yeah, it
Definitely.
sounds like it. I mean, they'll have you going in the river, they have you going in the parks. I mean, that's just so how far will you guys travel for a bat rescue?
Well, we don't. I think when we join up and have on our forms, they actually ask us how far we're willing to travel.
Hmm.
Because we all live in different areas and things like that. But look, I
Hmm.
guess if we have the time, if we haven't got lots of babies or we're not in the middle of doing something and that, we'll pretty much go wherever wherever we
Okay.
need to
Wow,
go.
that's great.
So, yeah, because they fly so far, so they can be in trouble quite a way out from where we live. But
Sure.
most of the time, they're within the colony or within the nearer suburbs. Within
Yeah.
about 20
Probably
k's or
25. Even
yeah,
well, you've been to the Barossa,
yeah,
so that's got to be 40
yeah,
at least.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And because it's the only colony in Adelaide, it is condensed in the area where we live anyway. That's where
That
the
makes
most of
things
the
that's
rescues
very
we
nice.
do.
So explain the bat bathing process because now I'm stuck on bats in water now.
in
Do
water,
you use like baby shampoo on them or like Dawn soap or how do you rinse them off?
water.
Just water?
Just water.
Just water and tissues or a clean cloth, and yeah, you either lay them on your lap or hang them from you, and you sort of you wet them down with the tissue or the cloth and open up their wings and clean their wings, and then you've got to make sure their wings are really dry because they can get fungal
Sure.
infections if they're not dry,
Sure.
which aren't great. So yeah, but they just plain water. We don't use anything else on them. And what I think's amazing, I often think this is that we've got a lap we can sit with them on, and we've got two hands, and we've got tissues and everything else. And sometimes it's still a real effort because they've got feet and wings and everything going everywhere.
Right. And
And I
then
think
I
how
don't want to
on
cooperate
earth
today.
do their mothers do it? Their
Yeah.
mothers have only got they've got the thumbs on the top of their wing and they're hanging from a tree.
Right.
How on earth? I always find this amazing, and they keep them immaculately
That's a really
clean.
good point.
Yeah.
So they've only got their thumbs on
They
their
probably
wing.
scream at them.
Well,
In
I
bat language,
believe
they're probably getting cussed out by their moms in bat
yeah,
language, I would
I
imagine.
quite rough with them, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
I haven't actually. Well, they're high up and things like that, but I actually haven't seen close up. But apparently they're quite rough with them, and they tell them off it. So whether they're saying,
Oh, yes, they do get cussed out.
I'm trying to bath you. But I just find it
Right.
amazing how all they've got is these two thumbs on their wing, and they manage to keep these
Right.
babies clean their wings and clean every part of their body, hanging on a tree.
That's a really good point. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine it probably does get pretty brutal. And yeah, mom's probably like, you're going to sit your ass here and be still, or I'm going to
Yes.
scream in your face, and we'll kind of just repeat
And
the process.
making sure they're holding tight
Yeah.
as well, because all it takes is one fall and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
They're gone. So,
But the other thing that the cleaning, for us cleaning, is teaching them to clean themselves.
yes.
So you notice after a while,
Yes.
it only takes a couple of weeks, doesn't
Oh,
it?
yes. Yeah.
And care, and then
Yeah.
they start going and cleaning inside their armpits and licking their bellies and doing the head thing.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
mine, he does a total tumble, and then he sticks his
yeah.
head between his head comes out between his legs.
Alice sometimes does that. I put her on my lap and I'm cleaning her, and her head comes up like that. Her head comes up like, what are you doing?
And they just go into a ball. It's like the bears,
Right.
the bears going down the hill.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I love it.
some of them are good. Some of them are quite easy to clean, but some of them it's arms and legs everywhere. It's just
Oh, when you
Oh,
first
yeah.
introduce the cleaning and the
Yeah.
water, it's like, no way. Yeah, no way.
Yes. But then as they get
Or
older,
they're not into it at first. They're like, we're done with this. I don't want to do this.
I want to wash your face and get that Vegemite off your face, you know, or nut butter.
Yeah.
And the kid's going like this, and you're trying to, you know. Yeah,
Right. Oh, yeah. No, I remember doing that to my mom. I trying to wipe my face and nope, we're not doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All these guys are exactly the same.
Yes. Yeah.
It sounds like it. All right. You said Vegemite. I have to ask, do you two fine ladies like Vegemite? I've had it a few times and every time it's been disgusting. So
I love it.
I do too.
I can eat it from the jar on a spoon.
Oh God.
Oh,
No.
And drink it in hot water. I can put a spoonful in boiling water and drink it.
Yep.
Like
it's
soup.
good. Yeah.
And you know what? When I make my soup, I don't use like a vegetable stock in my soup. I use a big dollop of Vegemite in it.
Oh my God.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Well, power to you, because I am not doing that ever. But good for you. That I think you just have to. It's just 100% an Aussie thing. Because the few times I've tried it, I'm like, maybe it'll be different this time. And I'm like, no, it's still disgusting. I can't do it.
Oh, no.
I can't understand children loving it though, because it's such a strong taste.
Yes, it is.
But
Yeah.
kids love it.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. There's some camp counselor from Australia taught me this little jingle. It's like, we love our Vegemite. It puts a rose in every cheek or something like that. Yeah.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Is that commercial still on, or is that little jingle still around?
No, I
Long
think
gone.
yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
It probably is an acquired taste. I don't know. I'm English, so in England we used to have Marmite, and we do have Marmite over here as well. But
It's not as popular.
But the English Marmite is. I've tried it when I went back to England. It's revolting. It's like smoking motor oil. It's just and it's greasy. Yeah. Our Vegemite's not greasy, is it? It's
well,
just
you guys like lard, don't you?
No, I don't.
No, you British, you know.
Yeah, they like
they like all
British
that
like greasy food and things like that. But no, that's horrible. But yeah, I think Vegemite is one of those things. It's like olives or whatever. You either love them or you hate them. You know,
Sure.
coriander,
Yeah. No,
coriander, or
right.
cilantro. You call it, don't you? Cilantro.
Oh yes, love cilantro. Yep, love it. Love
yeah,
it.
we call it coriander. We love it too, but that's one of those
great
things that
flavor.
people either love or hate.
Yeah, you're right. No, that's very true. Because people are like, I don't like any cilantro, and I'm like, why? That's literally where all the flavor comes from. Like, do you know that?
My son hates it. He said it tastes like soap. So, and he doesn't like
What
olives
soap
either.
is he eating?
Yes, I don't know. Yeah. No, I always joke that I'm going to make him an olive and coriander sandwich because they're two of the things he wants.
There you go.
Yeah, so
there you go.
Pauline's just going to warm up some water for me and bring my bottle out, and I'll give Alice her feed. And when she gets back, I'll get her to take the camera out, and you can see Alice in her cage because she's unwrapped herself and she's hanging. So
she's like, I'm done with this swaddling thing. I'm gonna hang out. Thank you.
Well,
that is so awesome.
They do, because it's it's very much reminiscent of their mums with the wings, and that's why we wrap them with their wings. Their wings are sort of by their side, and then we wrap them because that's how they hang on their mum. So so we try to replicate as much as we can, as close to their mum. I mean, look, we're humans, and we've got a bottle, a latex tea, and they're living in a house and things like that. So, you can't get over that. But whatever we do, we try to make it as close as we can. And I have a apron. It actually has
Alice
all the babies who use that apron like every year. I have a lot of aprons. It's not so important when you only have one baby, but when you have several, we change aprons. I think Pauline uses a shirt. You can use a T-shirt or whatever, but it's got your smell on it. So scent is probably a better word on it. So if you're having multiple babies and you're feeding them, you change. They each have their own apron or they have their own shirt or whatever, because they're not getting the confusion of having another bat smell on it.
Right.
These animals are, thank you, these animals are one-on-one with their mother in the wild, so they don't have interaction with anyone else except their mum. So when we have them, they have to be one-on-one. Like, we cringe when we see carers with, babies hanging off them all together. That's very confusing because they're sharing a mum, and they don't do that in the
And
wild.
that's not
They don't
natural
want
for
to
them.
share a mum. No, they don't want to share a mum. They want, that's my mum, and that's what what they're used to. So this is why we use their own piece of clothing. When they're hanging on their era, we hang this up with them, and very often, 9 times out of 10, they'll cuddle your blanket or your shirt when they're hanging on their era because it's cuddling their mum because of your scent on it.
Right.
So, yeah.
I had one that went into the sleeve.
Yes.
To go down. Oh, he was such a sook.
Do you want to do
That's
the camera
so cute.
so we can see how far can we go? We're going to try. Test out Pauline's camera work here.
Okay. Let's just juggle everything.
Yeah. Oh, is that her making the
That's
one?
her. Yes.
Oh, that is so cute.
That is her. I'm going to get her little wrap. So we fold the little wrap.
And all of a sudden she squeaks and here comes my giant bat.
Yes. So we fold the wrap. Hey, can you see her okay?
Yes.
Oh,
I see you flapping around in there.
Oh, here's your dum-dums. Here we go. Here's your dum-dums.
It's like instead of a baby discovering their arms and legs, it's a bat discovering its wings and it's like, oh, these appendages stretch and move and I control them.
So here she is.
Look at you. Oh God, I'm so jealous of both of you. I just want to hold baby bats and feed them all day.
Well, we always need more carers. Just get yourself rabies vaccinated and come and live over here.
I was just telling Auntie Ro yesterday. I was like, "Are your borders open yet? Because I'm kind of over being here right now." So.
Oh yes. Okay, so this is how we wrap them. So when they're in their womb, this is how they are. Their feet are curled up like this. So, and that's what they automatically, because their life depends on them having a good grip. So they automatically look for something to grip. So we wrap them like this. We put a little bit over and then we fold them here and we're
There we go. Okay.
So cute.
My camera work isn't that great.
So cute.
So
this
she's
could be
ready
that's
now.
your Christmas card right there.
Yes.
Little baby Alice and her bat burrito. Merry Christmas.
Yes. So what we normally do is before we feed them, we toilet them. So we get a tissue and we, wipe their little private bits, and they'll normally do a wee or a poo. And then we do that after their bottle as well. But she's been hanging, so she's just done one in her cage. So she's about to have her bottle. So out with the dummy, which they don't like taking them out. See?
Oh, she's not having that.
There we go. In with the botty. And because they're bats and they hang upside down, they get fed upside down.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
I don't know how the mechanics are of swallowing upside down, but good for them. They've obviously figured it out.
Yeah, that's right. So we try to keep them as much in the position as their mother would. They're under their wing. And we tilt their head to the side a bit so that that's how they are on their mum, and so they don't inhale asphyxiate on the milk. So we put their head on the side. So as you can see, she's enjoying this very much.
I don't know if you can hear
and that's human formula, right?
It is. It's baby formula, yes. So we use a lactose-free infant formula. Okay. And they do incredibly well on it.
That's great.
They thrive on it, and we keep track of. Well, we band and microchip our hand-reared babies, so we can keep track if any of them come back or anything happens. And what we find with the hand-reared babies is that they're at no greater disadvantage when they're released to the mother-reared ones in the wild.
So you
That's
think
great.
they'd be seriously disadvantaged.
Right. It's like you've had
because
this unnatural environment. You've had
that's
a
right.
pseudo mom, not
That's right,
bat
yes.
mom.
That's it. But this is why they go to creche at 12 weeks or so. They go to the creche, which is the nursery. So all of the
Right.
bats that have been hand reared, when they get 12 weeks old, they all go to creche, and then that's the great leveler, so that
Right.
they all learn from each other. Then they learn how to be a bat, and and they become sort of wild animals from there on. And we walk away from creche, crying our eyes out because we've had to let go of them.
Oh, my
And
babies, God.
some of them, they're staring at you, or they're trying to, come up to the end of the aviary to look at you as you walk away. And it's a horrible feeling for us, but for them, they soon get used to other. They
Right.
find friends straight away, and they hang together, and they've become bats then. So by the time they go to release aviary and get released, they're virtually wild animals. Yeah.
That's great.
Mm.
That's gonna make you
Last
feel
year,
good too.
Pauline
Like,
and I had it. Sorry?
Oh no, it's gotta make you feel good too as a human carer that
Yeah.
they're not at a disadvantage being in human care for the first, that
Yeah.
crucial first stage of life. That
That's
like for
right.
humans, if we get screwed up, it could be very crippling for us. But that's
Oh,
great
definitely.
for
No, look,
them. That
these guys take. She's finished her bottle already.
oh
These
my
guys
God,
take about 24 hours to bond with their human mum. There you
look at
go.
that little face.
And there's her botty, and now we sit and have after botty cuddle times. So, and then we toilet them about 20 minutes. We give them 20 minutes for it to work its way through. We toilet them and either put them back in their basket, or if they're older, we put them on their era, which is your, what do you call it? The clothes dryer?
A drying rack.
Drying rack, yes.
I mean, era sounds much cooler than drying rack. Drying rack just sounds like put on a drying rack. So
Yeah.
I'll give you guys that one.
Yes. So no, and their feeds, we have charts that we follow very strictly.
Because last time,
Did you weigh them every day?
Linda and the research that she'd done all those years, so that's why we've come to be able to care for these guys.
Yes,
so.
Yes, we have our consultant who's been working with flying foxes and researching, and for 33 years or 35 years,
40,
or
long
time
that.
anyway.
Wow.
So she has stats for absolutely everything that's ever happened, pretty much. A lot of it along the east coast of Australia, and we follow her guidelines very strictly because she has the formula that works. And we know it works for everything, what we feed them, to the age we do things. So we have her manual, and it's from 1 to 2 weeks you do this, and from 1 to 2 weeks it will tell you, how often you feed them, and what they should be doing at that stage, and they need artificial heat and all the things. So you can pretty much, whenever you get a bat in care, we measure their forearm and weigh them, and their forearm's a pretty good indication of their age. So once we've got that age, we'll look at our chart and say, okay, well, this one's 4 weeks old. What should we do with a 4-week-old baby? And then we can look and say, okay, well, 4 weeks old, they need to have 4 meals a day, 4 bottle feeds a day. They can start on an era for an hour after feeds, and then, work up and that sort of thing. So she's got everything down pat, and we don't ever deviate from it because we know that our babies are absolutely in top condition when they get released. Yes,
that's great. That's so fantastic. I mean, I love that you two do this. I mean, and that you care so much. It's just refreshing to come across others that care, not just care, but care enough to actually do something about it and are actively doing, trying to make change and actively supporting or whatever. Because people say, oh yeah, I like animals, but it's like, okay, so what do you do? And they're just like, I just like animals. Okay.
No,
I'm so sorry. My giant creature. What are you doing? Sorry, it's like having a. Okay. Well, he's destroying my house, but what else is new?
Do you want Pauline to talk a little bit about our education team? Because every
Yes,
time we talk, I
please.
seem to, Pauline reckons she's the talker, and yet when I look back, I'm always the one going, yeah.
Can you hear? Can you hear that squeaking?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, say hi, bud. Oh, yes, thank you. That's
Oh.
great.
Alice's ears are twitching. She
Oh,
can
yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Her little ears are twitching.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah. So with the education program, I think once before, Elle, we may have mentioned to you how it started was that we had a terrible rescue, that we did a missing rescue, and we chatted about it on the way home and thought, well, you know what, these guys, the members of the public, they don't understand the challenges that these guys have. They don't understand why they're important to the ecosystem. They don't understand that they're not pests, they're actually essential.
We need them.
We need them, and they're vulnerable to extinction. So we needed to let everyone know. So we decided to make a plan. We didn't realise that it would take off as quickly as it did. And we became quite busy. But now that it's baby
I was
season,
expecting this podcast to take off, so I hear you. Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, it's going to be a little side hobby thing, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, this we're all pretty invested in this thing now.
well, we thought it'd take at least a year of planning, getting things together, and then the bookings came in, and then we did the nature festival, and I think that was probably the best thing that we've done so far.
Yes.
Is that it was nearly 300 people. Over a period of 3 days, and
wow,
through the
that's
colony
fantastic.
tour, and children were involved, and we had activities for children, and we even had the bat wings. I think we've shown you that too, the bat wings. The kids were running around with bat wings.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, and activity sheets, and the families had a picnic, and other ones were at night time with a fly out, so they watched how the bats flew out, so they got the whole talk about the colony, where they go when they fly out, and they were just laying on their blankets on the lawn and just watching 30,000 bats fly over.
That's fantastic. But I mean, that's like, honestly, that's the best way to get people to care and to not want to take a bat and start swinging. No pun intended, but take a stick and start swinging at them or knocking down trees or whatever. It's to be like, look, the bats flew over you and there were no issues.
No. Exactly. We're still alive.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe someone got shit on, but that's also the risk you run with birds, so that's fair.
Yeah, and you can't get anything from bat shit anyway, or wee, or blood, or anything else.
Oh, that's great, because you can definitely catch stuff from human body fluid.
Yeah.
It sounds like the bats are cleaner than us as of right now.
Who isn't?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
They are. They're incredibly clean, and they're meticulous. Yeah.
Well, how many people have got cats in their homes?
Yeah.
Oh, cats are disgusting. I'm sorry, I can't do cats.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
So, people adore their cats. Their cats are dirty. Well, although they do clean, very much like these guys do, the licking and everything.
They shit in a box, and you're keeping cat shit in your house. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Maybe a no for me.
Get diseases from there.
Or you get, more people have died from toxoplasmosis, from cat litter and from cat feed than
pregnant women.
Yeah. Than they'll ever get from a flying fox or a bat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have a friend. Her father-in-law got blood poisoning because he got bit by a cat and was in the hospital with blood. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Enough, please. It's not even. I don't know. Do you guys do daylight savings time? Stop it.
We do.
Okay. Yes. So we just had hours. So we just went back. So his clock is all but jacked up this week. He thinks it's an hour earlier or an hour later, and so he's trying to He's trying to herd me out the door because he thinks it's time to go. I have to spell because he knows words OUT, and it's not time to go OUT. So this is what we're dealing with now. And of course, it's the one evening my husband actually had to go do something late for work, so he can't deal with him. It's always those evenings.
Yes, it is.
So do your families enjoy being a part of the bat? I mean, it seems like they have no choice, but how do your families like being bat people?
Well, my husband is also part of the team, so he's
Oh, okay.
vaccinated. So he's because I have them in the house all the time, and he goes out to help at heat stress events and things. He's very tall, so he's good for the sprayer. They love him coming there to spray, like with the water sprayers up on the trees to cool
Oh,
them down.
sure, sure.
So look, if
Oh,
I
that's
have
great.
multiple bats as well, he can help me feed if I need to, or something like that. So yeah,
Right.
he loves them, and
Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
all my family are animal lovers, and they all love them. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm sure that makes things easier.
Oh, it does. Yes. Yes, definitely. But I've always told my husband anyway, if it came to either the bats or him, he would be
Oh,
dead
yeah.
stone cold last. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, that's kind of how it is with the dog too. I'm just kind of like,
He knows his
my husband's like, I feel like you like the dog more than me. I'm like, don't ask questions you don't want answers to.
Yeah, that's right. You know the answer.
Right. Well, let's not go there. Let's change the subject quickly. Thanks.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Pauline, it's your daughter that makes the bat earrings,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yes.
Oh, I love
Yes.
that.
Does the resin. She does it.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
And now she's doing her silicone molds herself too.
Oh,
So she
okay.
can modify and custom make things. So
That's
really
fantastic.
for her. Yeah. So she's quite busy actually. She sold just that Halloween weekend. She sold all her bat earrings.
Good. I'm sure she did. Yeah, I'm sure she did.
And Christmas coming
That's
up.
fantastic. Good
So
for
I've got
her.
my pink ones on today.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm wearing
Pink and orange cardigan.
Oh,
poor
no.
lad.
Oh, that.
Good grief.
Oh, I got to order some orange ones. I think I've got 6 pairs, all different colours.
Good for you. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So before we wrap up here, I just have to ask, what's it like rescuing, or the differences between rescuing an adult and a baby? Are the adults maybe a little bit more difficult or resistant to you at first, or kind of like, okay, I'm a bat, you are a person, we don't mingle, or are they more accepting of you? I mean, it seems like the babies have literally no problem, just like, okay, this is my life now. So do you
The
run into
babies
that with
mostly.
the older ones?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the situation too. The babies are mostly, the little ones. Obviously, they're on the floor.
Right.
Of the colony, they've dropped on the. But we do have ones in difficult situations. I was out on what day was it? Wednesday, Thursday.
Yes, when
There was a baby that had fallen in just the worst possible place in the colony. Well, dropped from their mum, obviously, and was hanging
Right.
on a tree. But the tree was overhanging. We've got a riverbank here and a riverbank here, and then the river going along the middle and hanging on a tree over the river. So down in
Oh,
what
good.
we
Yeah,
call
good
the
luck.
valley. So very difficult. So we tried to do a pole rescue. So we have we use this in hot weather as well. We have a really, really long pole, an extendable pole, and at the end of it, we wrap black towels around them. So it sort of resembles their mum a bit. In hot weather, we wet it or we put some glucose or something sweet on it. So they'll
Something to attract them.
and they'll grab the towel and we can lift them down. However, this one the other day, he did not want to come down. He grabbed a little bit on it, and the pole is such a really long pole that it actually bent a little bit. And because he was in a spot that there were branches everywhere, like very slim branches, so to actually get a clear spot to pull him out. So I think we were there almost 3 hours with this pole trying to get him. Anyway, so we had to come, and there was one circling all the time, but we think it was his mother, because they do keep trying to get their babies.
Right.
So
Of course.
the good thing about that though is, although we didn't get him, we did push him to the end of the branch of the tree, and then the next crew who went in to do a check saw the mum come and pick him up from the branch. She actually, where he was previously, she tried to land, but she couldn't land because it wasn't an area where she had a safe landing to be able to come and pick him up. But we pushed him out a little bit further, And I think it was Holly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She went to do a check, and she witnessed the mum landing next to him, and he climbed on his mum, and off they went. So
that's
that
great.
was a good outcome. But the adults, look, they could be in fruit netting, barbed wire,
especially if they're in pain.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's like any animal pain. They're usually not the nicest.
Yeah, barbed wire's bad because they've if they get little
shreds
holes.
them.
Well, it does, and I think the worst thing is that they because they have such fear in them, they fly in and they land, and then they can't get off again. They'll get little holes in their wings and that, which normally can heal. Small holes can heal.
But I would imagine like 100 holes. Probably not all of them are
Yeah.
going to close back
No,
up
that's
again.
right. If there's a lot of holes, and when they do heal, they heal a bit tight sometimes. If they're taking too long or they got too big a holes, and they heal, so it makes their wing not great for flying. They heal too tight, but they also try to chew themselves off. So we see the roof of their mouth is pulped, from trying to chew barbed wire. So we do see that a bit, and
that's horrific.
And also the electrocutions. Unfortunately, they don't die instantly, so they can have body parts blown off and they're still alive. So
where are they getting electrocuted? I mean, I know they have like electric fences and whatnot for cattle, but isn't that
on power lines?
Okay.
So I mean, birds are okay because birds land upright and then they take off upright, whereas flying foxes, they land and they hang, and if you've got the two wires close together, as they fly, as they tip up to fly off, they open up their wings while their feet are still on an earthing one. The tip of their wing touches another one, and they get blown off, and half of faces, feet, wings, everything. So we do see a lot of distressing things. A lot of good things, but you can't just do all the good things. You have to do the bad things as well.
Yeah, we got to do the good with the bad. Have to definitely take the good with the bad.
Yeah, it's upsetting, but as long as we can get to them quickly enough and put them out of their pain, that's the best we can do for a lot of them.
Yeah.
And some of them, especially this time of year, a lot of the mothers have babies on board. So females of an age have a baby on board, so they can be electrocuted, but the baby still survives. So we have to make sure.
Oh gosh.
We keep telling people, if you see one up on the power lines, please call us in because, even if the mum's dead, if they've got a baby on board, those babies can survive.
Right.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's pretty.
Then there was a rescue a couple of weeks ago. There was a mum who was deceased, and I was on the hotline, and the call came in, and I got 2 calls within 10 minutes saying that there was a deceased bat out the front of a school, at the gates of the school, and it was probably pretty close to kids coming out. So sent someone out there, and lo and behold, she had a baby underneath, and it survived. It was still alive. So they reported as being deceased, but we retrieve deceased bats for records, for data. And fortunately for that one, that little baby's in care. It was, what was it, 9 days old or less than that? 6 days old? It was quite young, very young. It's one Barb's got.
Yeah. Oh, yes, yeah.
Quite young. So that could have been dismissed because the mother her wing was covering the baby.
Right, absolutely, yeah. And it's just you're like, we got a dead bat, and then throw it away or dispose of it, and eek. Right. You actually got a twofer with that one.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So we've got a baby that's going to survive, although the mother has died.
Oh, that's got to be tough. Well, on a lighter note, thank you for everything that you ladies do, and thank you for letting me hijack part of your Saturday morning. I really appreciate it. It's always great to. I mean, it's always great to see you two and the bats. Oh yeah, I know how that goes. Yeah.
It's just
That's great. So so thank you. So where for our local listeners, and I mean by local being in Adelaide, what number can they call if they have a bat emergency or need a bat rescue?
8486 1139.
Perfect. I can't remember that, but thank you, Pauline. Thank you, Pauline, for saying that.
But we only want Adelaide callers. South Australian
Right,
callers.
yeah.
We can't
Right. The Philippines might take you guys a while to get there. Well, thank you so much,
We do
ladies.
have.
And
Oh,
we
can I
can't
just
wait to
mention
have
my
you back on. Oh, of
Oh,
course.
sorry. No, could I just mention I have an Instagram, or we have an Instagram page.
Oh, yes, please. I'm so sorry. Yes, plug everything.
No,
Go
that's
for it.
okay.
Yes.
With every post that we do on the Instagram page, they're about our babies and but everything has a bit of education with it, and listed are all of the Australian rescue numbers for wildlife rescue. So that Instagram page is Talking Batty Education Team. So if they
It's
go
a great
on
page. I love it personally.
yes,
I love
I
seeing all the
know.
baby pictures
Yes,
on there.
yes. So, but with every post, I make sure that I put a bit of education on there, and also all of the phone numbers for around Australia for if anyone sees bats in trouble that they need to contact.
Perfect. And yes, I mean, even regardless, hopefully you don't see bats in distress, but their Instagram page is amazing. I love scrolling through it, and it's like, oh, baby bat, oh, another bat burrito, another bat, and it's
Yes,
great. So I can
yes.
highly recommend it. Because
Oh,
thank you
thank
as always for listening. Thank you for coming back on. And if you have any questions, send us an email or find us on Instagram at justanimalspod. Have a great evening or morning, depending upon where you are in the world.
Thanks, Elle.
Thanks, Elle.